Colonel Sarah Chen stared at the holographic projection of the alien vessel hovering over Washington, D.C., its pearlescent hull dwarfing the airspace around the National Mall. The celestial harmony had arrived 12 hours ago, and Earth's governments were still scrambling to form a coherent response. "They're scanning our military installations again," Lieutenant Park reported, fingers dancing across his console, "focusing on missile silos and naval bases." Chen nodded, the scar tissue pulling tight across her left cheek. "Let them look. They clearly expect to find something specific." The room fell silent as the communication screen activated. Ambassador Zixtal's cephalopod-like features filled the display, his color-shifting skin betraying what Chen suspected was amusement. "Colonel Chen, we appreciate Earth's cautious welcome," the ambassador began, his translated voice oddly melodic. "The Federation Council is pleased to extend an invitation for your delegation to tour our vessel tomorrow, a gesture of goodwill toward your developing world." Chen maintained her diplomatic smile. "We're honored, Ambassador. Though I'm curious, what metrics are you using to classify us as developing?" The ambassador's skin rippled with blue patterns. "Your energy production methods are quite advanced, certainly. Your computational systems show remarkable innovation. But your defensive technologies—" He paused delicately. "Well, reliance on chemical propellants and kinetic projectiles typically indicates a pre-stellar civilization." "How interesting," Chen replied, noting the condescension in his tone. "We look forward to learning from your expertise." After the transmission ended, General Rivera approached her desk. "He's sizing us up like we're children playing with sticks." "Good," Chen said, standing to examine the tactical display. "Their arrogance is useful. Every scan they run tells us more about their scanning technology. Every dismissive comment reveals their blind spots." She zoomed in on the alien vessel's propulsion system. "Notice how their hull is structured to disperse energy weapons, but there's minimal reinforcement against physical impacts." "You think they've forgotten about bullets?" Rivera asked incredulously. "I think they've evolved past the point where they need to remember them," Chen replied. "Advanced civilizations specialize. They streamline. They discard what they consider inefficient." She pulled up historical footage from Earth's conflicts, everything from World War II to the Sudan campaign she'd fought in herself. "Humans don't abandon working technology. We layer. We keep options." The next morning, Chen led Earth's delegation aboard the alien vessel, deliberately selecting an eclectic team: quantum physicists in rumpled clothes, special forces operators with watchful eyes disguised as security, cultural anthropologists taking meticulous notes. The Federation representatives greeted them with the benevolent patience one might show to precocious children. Ambassador Zixtal guided them through gleaming corridors of technology so advanced it seemed magical. "Our medical facilities can cure any disease your species has cataloged," he mentioned casually. "Our energy systems produce no harmful waste." Chen nodded appreciatively while noting the lack of manual overrides on any system. Everything depended on their advanced technology. No redundancies. When they reached the weapons demonstration hall, Science Officer Ron 7 proudly displayed their defensive capabilities. "Our phase shields can withstand any energy weapon developed in the last 3,000 years," he boasted as a simulation showed dazzling energy attacks dissipating harmlessly. "Impressive," Chen commented. "And against kinetic weapons?" Ron 7 blinked his compound eyes in confusion. "Kinetic? You mean physical projectiles? No advanced species would use such inefficient methods when energy weapons are available." Chen exchanged a glance with her team. "Of course," she agreed. "How logical." That evening, back in the Pentagon's Secure Command Center, Chen authorized a series of missile tests in the Pacific. Obsolete technology, by their own standards, but repurposed with modern targeting systems. "Make sure our visitors get a good look," she instructed. "Provoking them?" Rivera asked. "Educating them," Chen corrected, "before they make a dangerous assumption." Unknown to them, Ensign Mira, the young Federation xenanthropologist, was already poring over Earth's military history with growing fascination and alarm. They never stopped using anything that worked, she whispered to herself, plumage darkening as implications became clear. They just kept making it better. Ensign Mira's quarters aboard the Celestial Harmony had transformed into an unauthorized research lab. Holographic projections of Earth's military conflicts floated around her, from ancient Roman formations to modern combined arms tactics. She bypassed 3 security protocols to access these files, a court-martial offense under Federation law. Computer, cross-reference human weapons development timeline with standard civilization progression models, she instructed, her feathered crest rising with excitement. The results made her plumage bristle with alarm. The standard progression showed a clear pattern across 17 integrated species. Discover gunpowder, develop firearms, create explosives, invent guided missiles, develop energy weapons, then abandon all previous stages as inefficient. Humans had followed this path, but only to a point. They'd developed every category, then continued refining all of them simultaneously. Her door chimed. Mira hastily shut down the projections as Science Officer Ron 7 entered without waiting for permission. Your biometric signature shows heightened stress patterns, Ensign, Ron 7 noted, his compound eyes scanning her quarters. And you've been accessing restricted historical archives. Just trying to understand our new neighbors, Mira replied carefully. Your enthusiasm exceeds your clearance level, Ron 7 said, slithering closer. The humans' development anomalies are already under investigation by senior researchers. Mira's wings twitched involuntarily. Have they noticed the weapons divergence pattern? Ron 7 stiffened. Explain. Humans never abandon technologies that worked effectively, she said, unable to contain her academic excitement. During their Cold War, they developed ICBMs alongside battlefield tactical weapons alongside personal firearms. Even their elite soldiers still carry knives as standard equipment. Redundant and inefficient, Ron 7 dismissed. Or adaptable and pragmatic, Mira countered, then immediately regretted her boldness. Ron 7's skin darkened ominously. I'll be monitoring your research activities more closely, Ensign. Some species' developmental quirks are best left to senior analysts. After he left, Mira retrieved her hidden data crystal containing information too sensitive for the main computer. The humans had conducted a series of missile tests immediately after their tour. Missiles using technology centuries behind their computational capabilities, yet refined to deadly precision. Meanwhile, in Ambassador Zixtal's private chambers, a heated debate unfolded among the senior Federation representatives. Their military doctrine is concerning. Security Attaché Vorn insisted, his exoskeleton clicking nervously. They operate on multiple technological tiers simultaneously. It makes their responses unpredictable. Ambassador Zixtal gestured dismissively with 3 of his tentacles. Many emerging species cling to familiar technologies during transition periods. They'll abandon these primitive approaches once they understand the efficiency of our systems. Ambassador, with respect. Federation military observer Krell interjected. Their missile tests yesterday utilized guidance systems far more sophisticated than the propulsion technology. They're deliberately maintaining older weapons platforms while enhancing their capabilities. To what purpose? Zixtal asked. Unknown, Krell admitted. But in 17 previous species integrations, we've never observed this pattern. On Earth, Colonel Chen was conducting her own analysis. Her team had compiled every scrap of data gleaned from the Federation vessel tour, focusing on what wasn't shown as much as what was. No kinetic weapons, she summarized to the Joint Chiefs on a secure quantum-encrypted channel. No ballistic defenses. No physical armor beyond minimal structural requirements. Their entire defensive doctrine is built around energy dispersal and deflection. A critical vulnerability, General Rivera noted. One we must keep quiet, Chen emphasized. The Federation is accustomed to technological assimilation following a predictable pattern. Their assumption that we'll abandon our primitive weapons might be our greatest strategic advantage. She highlighted sensor readings from the alien vessel. Their scanning systems barely register depleted uranium or tungsten penetrators. They're not looking for threats they've evolved beyond considering. "So what's our play?" asked the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Chen's expression was resolute. "We continue diplomatic engagement while quietly preparing contingencies. If they're expecting us to think like them, let's ensure we don't." The New Mexico desert shimmered under the morning heat as the Federation delegation materialized on the observation platform. Ambassador Zixtal's environmental suit hummed softly, adjusting to Earth's atmosphere. Behind him, 6 Federation officials, including Security Attaché Vorn, arranged themselves with diplomatic precision. Colonel Chen waited for them, flanked by a small team of human specialists. Her dress uniform was impeccable, medals catching the sunlight, each representing conflicts the Federation had dismissed as primitive territorial disputes. "Welcome to White Sands," she greeted them. "We appreciate your interest in our defensive capabilities." Zixtal's translator conveyed polite skepticism. "We're merely conducting standard technological assessment for potential membership consideration. The Federation Council believes transparency prevents misunderstandings." "Absolutely," Chen agreed. "Transparency is why we've prepared this demonstration, rather than simply submitting specifications." She gestured toward a series of targets arranged at varying distances across the desert floor. "We've constructed these using materials identical to Federation hull composites, based on the samples you provided." Security Attaché Vorn shifted uncomfortably. "Those were meant for compatibility testing, not weapons calibration." Chen smiled. "Multi-purpose analysis is a human specialty." At her signal, a soldier wheeled forward a display case containing what appeared to be antiques: a compound bow, a bolt-action rifle, and a simple metal tube. Ambassador Zixtal's skin flickered with amusement. "Colonel, while we appreciate this historical exhibition—" "First demonstration," Chen interrupted, nodding to a Special Forces operator who stepped forward with the compound bow. The man knocked an arrow, its tip gleaming oddly, drew back, and released. The arrow struck the nearest target and penetrated completely through the Federation hull material. Vorn's exoskeleton clicked in alarm. "Impossible." "Composite carbon nanoshaft with a depleted uranium tip," Chen explained. "The bow is carbon fiber with a simple pulley system. Technology that's existed on Earth for hundreds of years, merely refined." Before the Federation representatives could respond, she continued. Second demonstration. The rifle cracked once. 2 kilometers away, a target representing Federation shielding technology shattered as the bullet passed through it. "Tungsten carbide penetrator with minimal electronic signature," Chen said. "Undetectable by your scanning systems because they're calibrated for energy weapons, not physical projectiles." Ambassador Zixtal's earlier amusement had vanished. "You've deliberately engineered weapons to bypass our defensive systems." "We've maintained weapons that naturally bypass your defenses," Chen corrected. "There's a critical difference." She gestured to the final device, the simple metal tube mounted on a tripod. "This design is from our Second World War, circa 1944. We call it a recoilless rifle. When it fired the target, a replica of Federation armor 3 kilometers distant, disappeared in a cloud of dust." The silence that followed was profound. Chen turned to face the Federation delegation. "Your civilization followed a linear path of weapons development, discarding previous technologies as inefficient. Humans never saw it that way. We maintain what works alongside what's new." She activated a holographic display showing layers of human defense systems, everything from cyber warfare to nuclear deterrence to simple camouflage. "We call this defense in depth. No single point of failure. No unified technological vulnerability." Ambassador Zixtal studied the display, his skin shifting to a deep blue that Chen had not seen before. "You've created a deliberately unpredictable defensive doctrine." "We adapted to our own history," Chen replied. Humans fought other humans for millennia. We learned that over-specialization is a weakness, not a strength. Security Attaché Vorn's voice was subdued. The Federation's standard integration protocols assume technological uniformity. That's the fundamental difference, Chen said. You see technology as a ladder to climb. We see it as a toolkit to expand. As they spoke, a junior Federation officer quietly recorded the entire demonstration, encrypting it for immediate transmission to the Federation Council. The message classification: urgent security concern. The Federation Council chamber's vast dome pulsed with agitated light as representatives from over 300 worlds watched the demonstration footage. The New Mexico desert, the simple weapons, the devastating results, all projected in perfect holographic clarity. This cannot stand, Security Commissioner Drav declared, his crystalline body structure refracting light across the chamber floor. These humans have deliberately developed weapons specifically designed to defeat our defensive technologies. Elder Representative Zhou, one of the Council's oldest members, raised a withered appendage. That seems an inaccurate characterization, Commissioner. Their weapons predate their knowledge of our existence. Yet they've maintained and refined them, Drav countered, while simultaneously developing quantum computation and fusion energy. This technological divergence is unprecedented and represents a clear security risk. From her observer's alcove, Ambassador Zixtal noted the shifting alliances forming across the chamber. The militarist faction was gaining support, even among typically moderate worlds. The demonstration had frightened them. The humans demonstrated these capabilities openly, she reminded the Council. This suggests diplomatic intent, not hostile preparation. Commissioner Drav's crystalline form pulsed red, or a warning, perhaps even a threat. On the opposite side of the galaxy, within the swirling gases of the Spur Nebula, the Vex Collective processed the intercepted transmission. The primary node, a vast crystalline structure housing billions of interconnected minds, pulsed with activity as the information cascaded through the hive consciousness. Anomaly detected, the collective consciousness determined. Humans maintain technological diversity contrary to standard evolutionary patterns. A subnode calculation completed. Federation response predicted. 87.3% probability of preemptive security action against Earth. The primary node pulsed with decision. Opportunity identified. Federation vulnerability exposed. Deployment authorized. 3 Vex scout vessels detached from the nebula's concealing gases, their organic-mechanical hybrid designs shifting to match the surrounding void as they accelerated toward Earth space. Meanwhile, in her secured Pentagon office, Colonel Chen reviewed the intelligence reports with growing concern. Federation ships were repositioning throughout the solar system. Communication patterns had changed, and their diplomatic channels had suddenly gone quiet. They're preparing something, she told General Rivera, pointing to the tracking data. Their vessels are forming a containment perimeter. Rivera studied the display grimly. Peacekeeping or invasion? From their perspective, there may be no difference, Chen replied. We've scared them. Species that consider themselves technologically superior don't respond well to fear. Her secure terminal chimed with an encrypted message bounced through 17 relay satellites to mask its origin. Chen's eyes widened as she read. Federation Security Council approves Containment Protocol 37A classification. Preemptive defense. Target. Sol system. Authorization. Commissioner Drav. Implementation. Immediate. Below this was a personal addendum. They fear what they don't understand, and they've never understood species that think differently. Your demonstration confirmed their worst fears about technological divergence. Prepare your people. Ensign Nira. Chen immediately activated Earth's defense grid. All units to Condition 1, she ordered. Maintain emissions discipline. No active scanning. They're really coming for us? Rivera asked, already mobilizing his staff. They're coming to protect the galaxy from what they perceive as a dangerously unpredictable species, Chen clarified. From their perspective, it's the responsible action. On the edge of the solar system, a Vex scout ship observed the Federation fleet's deployment with cold calculation. The hybrid vessel's organic components processed emotional responses to the tactical situation, while its mechanical systems analyzed Federation capabilities. The ship's commander, more machine than organism, after centuries of symbiotic enhancement, reached a decision. Contact human command structure. Offer conditional alliance. Parameters. Its second inquired. Knowledge exchange. Tactical cooperation. Cultural preservation. The commander's cybernetic eyes tracked Federation movement patterns. They seek to eliminate divergence. We seek to preserve it. As Federation ships began their advance toward Earth, a signal bypassed all standard communications channels and reached Colonel Chen's terminal directly. Humans. We are the Vex. The Federation comes to homogenize you. We offer alternative. Colonel Chen stared at the Vex message glowing on her terminal, its implications rippling through the command center like an electric current. The alien text, somehow perfectly translated into English, remained on screen beside the tactical display, showing Federation vessels entering Earth's orbital space. Could be a trap, General Rivera warned. Playing us against each other. Or opportunity, Chen countered. Either way, our options are limited. She opened a secure channel to the UN Security Council. Within minutes, representatives from every major Earth power were connected, faces grim as they absorbed the Federation fleet movements. We need to buy time, the Russian representative argued. There is no time, Chen responded, forwarding Ensign Mira's warning. The Federation operates on consensus. If they've authorized military action, diplomacy has already failed. The Chinese premier's expression hardened. Then we show them the error of underestimating Earth. Authorization codes flooded Chen's terminal, each nation activating their military assets and placing them under her tactical command. Humanity, for perhaps the first time, stood truly united. Her reply to the Vex was succinct. Terms acceptable. Coordination protocols to follow. We engage the Federation independently but simultaneously. Aboard the Celestial Harmony, Ambassador Zixtal found himself confined to quarters, 4 armed guards positioned outside his door. Through his viewing portal, he watched as the Federation fleet moved into attack formation. This violates everything we claim to represent, he told his aide, a young officer who had remained loyal despite orders. Commissioner Drav has classified Earth as an exceptional case, the aide replied quietly. The Council approved containment protocols. Containment is merely a euphemism for. Zixtal began, but alarms cut him short. Federation ships were reporting multiple launch signatures from Earth's surface, primitive chemical rockets rising to meet them. The human response had begun. Commissioner Drav's flagship led the formation, its advanced targeting systems identifying key military installations for precision strikes. Begin peacekeeping operations, he commanded. Minimal civilian casualties. Focus on weapons platforms and command centers. The first Federation ships entered atmosphere, energy weapons charging, only to encounter something unexpected. Their sensors, calibrated for detecting energy signatures, failed to register the simple metal projectiles accelerating toward them until impact. Tungsten rods, essentially artillery shells without explosives, tore through Federation hulls at hypersonic speeds. Ships designed to withstand energy weapons found their hulls punctured by kinetic impacts their designers had never considered relevant. Impossible, Drav hissed as reports of damage flooded in. Their weapons are centuries behind ours. On Earth's surface, Chen watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Phase 1 complete. Initiate electronic countermeasures. Across the planet, electromagnetic pulse generators, technology the Federation had abandoned millennia ago as inefficient, activated simultaneously. Federation neural interfaces and communication systems, lacking hardening against such obsolete attacks, faltered. As the Federation assault stumbled, A new signal cut through their communications. The Vex scout ship decloaked near the International Space Station, its organic-mechanical hybrid design triggering automatic threat responses from the disoriented Federation fleet. Unfortunate, the Vex commander communicated directly to Colonel Chen. They attack before understanding, a persistent Federation failing. The Vex vessel released a series of small crystalline objects that attached themselves to disabled Federation ships. Within moments, the ship's systems reactivated, but now responded to Vex commands. Technology the Federation had never encountered rendering their security protocols useless. Ambassador Zixtal watched in horror from his confinement as Federation vessels began firing on each other, compromised by Vex infiltration technology guided by human tactical insight. "We must stop this," he told his aide. "Contact the Council directly." "All communications are blocked," the aide replied. "Commissioner Drav has enacted information quarantine protocols." "Then we do this the old way," Zixtal decided, his skin darkening with determination. "We physically reach the communication hub." As they escaped into the corridor, Ensign Mira appeared unexpectedly, her plumage fluctuating with stress. "Ambassador, the humans aren't the threat. It's our response that's creating this disaster." Zixtal nodded grimly. "Then let's ensure the Council learns the truth before there's nothing left to salvage." The Celestial Harmony's communication hub pulsed with activity as technicians struggled to maintain contact with the Federation fleet. Ambassador Zixtal, Ensign Mira, and 2 loyal crew members slipped through maintenance corridors, avoiding security patrols. "The primary transmitter is guarded," Zixtal's aide whispered, checking a holographic display embedded in his wrist. "We don't need it," Mira replied, her plumage shifting to match the corridor's dim lighting. "Emergency protocols require all Council messages to be delivered through redundant systems." "Redundant systems," Zixtal repeated, a realization dawning. "The very concept we ridiculed in humans." They reached an auxiliary communication station, rarely used but maintained per Federation regulations. Mira's security clearance granted them access, and Zixtal immediately began composing his transmission to the Council. Outside Earth's atmosphere, the battle had transformed into chaos. Federation ships, compromised by Vex infiltration technology, fired on their own fleet. Human kinetic weapons continued to punch through advanced shields calibrated against energy attacks. The carefully orchestrated peacekeeping operation had devolved into a disorganized rout. Commissioner Drav's flagship maintained position above the North American continent, his crystalline form pulsing with fury. "Deploy the containment field," he ordered. "Lock down their missile installations." "Sir, our targeting systems are compromised," his weapons officer reported. "We're detecting anomalous signals across all frequencies." "Impossible," Drav insisted. "Their technology is primitive. They cannot affect our systems." "It's not just the humans," the officer clarified. "We're detecting Vex signatures integrated with human tactical patterns." In the Pentagon Command Center, Colonel Chen coordinated the combined defense. Human electronic warfare specialists worked alongside Vex interface technicians, their unlikely collaboration proving devastatingly effective. Federation encryption adaptive algorithms failing, the Vex commander noted, its mechanical components interfacing directly with Earth's defense grid. They expected singular technological approach, cannot process multiple simultaneous methodologies. Chen nodded, understanding the fundamental advantage at play. They evolved toward optimization. We evolved toward adaptation. On view screens across the command center, Federation vessels either retreated from Earth orbit or found themselves disabled by the combined human-Vex defensive measures. Meanwhile, Zixtal's transmission reached the Federation Council, bypassing Commissioner Drav's information quarantine. His message played before representatives of 1,000 worlds. "I have discovered the secret behind humanity's outdated weapons, and it is not a secret of technology, but of philosophy. The humans never abandoned functional technology regardless of its age. While we pursued singularity of approach, They maintained plurality. He transmitted battle footage showing Federation ships disabled by simple electromagnetic pulses, kinetic weapons, and even decoy systems drawing advanced targeting away from actual human positions. Their military doctrine emerged from fighting themselves for millennia, against opponents who thought like they did, who adapted as they adapted. They never had the luxury of assuming technological superiority would guarantee victory. The council chamber erupted in debate as Zixtal continued. Commissioner Drav initiated this conflict based on fear of difference. Yet this difference, this technological diversity, is precisely what we should be learning from, not attempting to eliminate. As the council deliberated, Elder Representative Zhou rose, her ancient form commanding immediate respect. I move to resign Commissioner Drav's authority and order an immediate cessation of hostilities. The vote was swift and decisive. Drav's authorization was revoked, and the Federation fleet received orders to disengage immediately. On his flagship, Commissioner Drav received the Council's decision with disbelief. They don't understand the threat these humans pose. His weapons officer's response was firm. The Council has spoken, Commissioner. Hostilities end now. Drav's crystalline form pulsed with dangerous energy. The humans have already compromised our most advanced systems. The Council is making a catastrophic error. He turned to his loyal security detail. Prepare a final targeting solution. We'll eliminate their primary command structure before withdrawing. But as Drav attempted to implement his plan, he discovered that his flagship's systems no longer responded to his commands. On his view screen, Colonel Chen appeared alongside the Vex commander. Your authorization has been revoked, Commissioner, Chen informed him, and your technological monoculture has proven surprisingly easy to compromise. 3 weeks after the conflict, the United Nations headquarters in New York hosted the first official Galactic cultural exchange. The Grand Assembly Hall had been transformed, its human architecture now complemented by Federation environmental modifications and subtle Vex crystalline accents. Colonel Chen, newly promoted to general, stood beside Ambassador Zixtal as delegates from all three civilizations mingled cautiously. Federation scientists clustered around displays of human military history, their expressions ranging from fascination to disbelief. Your people adapt quickly, Chen observed, watching a Federation engineer examining an electromagnetic pulse generator with newfound respect. Necessity is persuasive, Zixtal replied. The battle footage from Earth has become required viewing in Federation military academies. Many of our strategists are reevaluating assumptions that have guided our development for millennia. A Federation weapons specialist approached them, his translucent appendages gesturing toward a display of simple firearms. General Chen, these projectile weapons, we've begun investigating applications of this technology integrated with our energy systems. The results are unexpected. Synergistic rather than replacement, Chen suggested. Precisely. The specialist agreed, his skin flushing with academic excitement. We've been designing each new technology to replace its predecessor entirely. The possibility of combination never occurred to us. Across the hall, a team of human engineers worked alongside Vex technicians examining a hybrid communications array. Earth's quantum entanglement technology combined with Vex organic circuitry and Federation transmission protocols. It transmits across distances our individual systems couldn't achieve independently, a NASA scientist explained to observers. Each component compensates for weaknesses in the others. In a quieter corner, Commissioner Drav stood under Federation guard, his crystalline form dulled and restrained. The Council had stripped him of authority, but brought him to Earth to witness the exchange firsthand. This integration is dangerous, he insisted to Elder Representative Zhou. Technological homogeneity ensures stability. It ensures stagnation, Zhou corrected gently. Consider our conflict with the Vex 2 centuries ago. We fought to a stalemate despite technological superiority because our singular approach became predictable. The humans will destabilize everything we've built, Drav warned. They will revitalize it, Zhou countered. Already, 17 Federation worlds have established research partnerships focused on technological integration rather than replacement. The modular development doctrine they're creating may transform our civilization's future. The Vex Overseer, a crystalline entity embedded in living circuitry, observed the proceedings from a specialized containment field that maintained its preferred atmosphere. General Chen approached with Ambassador Zixtal. "Your intervention was timely," Chen acknowledged, "though your motives remain unclear." The Overseer's mechanical interface hummed. Self-preservation. The Federation's technological monoculture was becoming dominant across the galaxy. Diversity ensures ecological balance, in technologies as in biospheres. You sought us as a counterweight, Zixtal realized. "We sought you as catalysts," the Overseer corrected. "The Vex adaptation is biological-mechanical. Yours is philosophical-practical. Together, they create something the Federation cannot simply assimilate." Later that evening, in a secure briefing room, General Chen addressed the newly formed Technological Integration Commission, a joint task force of human, Federation, and Vex specialists. "Our goal isn't to abandon any working approach," she explained. "Federation elegant optimization, Vex adaptive hybridization, and human practical diversity all have their applications." She activated a holographic display showing a new vessel design. Federation propulsion systems combined with Vex organic sensors and human redundant control systems. The key insight isn't which technology is best, but how complementary technologies create systems stronger than any individual approach could achieve. Ambassador Zixtal studied the design with newfound appreciation. "Among my people, there's an ancient philosophical concept we'd abandoned as inefficient. The path of many steps. It suggests that diversity of approach, while seemingly inefficient, creates resilience against the unexpected. Humans call it not putting all your eggs in one basket," Chen replied with a smile. "Less poetic, perhaps, but we found it keeps us alive." As the meeting concluded, news arrived from Federation space. The Council had voted to formally reclassify Earth from developing civilization to divergent partner species, a designation never previously granted but created specifically to acknowledge humanity's unique approach to technological development. 5 years after Earth's first contact with the Federation, the Integrated Space Station Convergence orbited at the L5 point between Earth and the Moon. Its design embodied the new philosophy that had transformed interspecies relations. Federation energy systems powered human-designed redundant modules constructed with Vex adaptive materials. General Chen, now Earth's representative to the Galactic Security Council, stood at the observation deck overlooking humanity's home planet. Beside her, Supreme Counselor Zixtal, elevated after his role in preventing the Earth-Federation War, contemplated the vastness of space beyond. The deep-range observatories detected something concerning, Zixtal said quietly. The Council is keeping it classified to prevent panic. "Another threat?" Chen asked, unsurprised. The universe had proven itself full of both wonders and dangers. An automated armada of ancient design has appeared at the edge of Sector 87. 3 Federation outposts have already gone silent. Before Chen could respond, emergency alerts activated throughout the station. Counselor Zhou's weathered face appeared on communication screens. "The precursor armada has accelerated its advance," she announced gravely. "It has breached the Federation's primary defensive perimeter at Ta City. All Council representatives are recalled immediately." Within hours, the Galactic Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from over 3,000 worlds gathered virtually as the Vex Overseer presented the analysis. The Armada appears to be automated defense systems created by the precursor civilization approximately 50,000 years ago. It explained. Their technology is paradoxically both ancient and advanced, designed to counter the most sophisticated weapons of their era, which followed the same development pattern as modern Federation technology. "How is that possible?" asked the Rigelian representative. "Technology 50 millennia old should be ineffective against our defenses." Because your defenses evolved along predictable paths, Chen interjected. The precursors anticipated that evolution. She activated a holographic display showing the Armada's devastating effectiveness against standard Federation defenses. Their systems bypass Federation shields entirely. They were designed to counter the logical progression of the very technologies the precursors themselves developed. Then we are defenseless, the Regelian concluded. No, Chen corrected, the Federation's approach is defenseless. But we're no longer limited to a single approach. She revealed a new strategic proposal, Operation Paradigm Shift. The plan incorporated technological elements from all three civilizations: Federation range and power, Vex adaptability, and human multi-layered redundancy. When their systems disable energy shields, we deploy physical armor. When they jam quantum communications, we use radio waves. When they overwhelm advanced targeting, we aim manually. The council chamber erupted in debate, but Elder Zo's ancient voice cut through the chaos. 5 years ago, we nearly destroyed Earth because we feared their divergent approach. That same approach may now save us all. 3 days later, the combined fleet rendezvoused at Ta City. Federation battleships retrofitted with human defense systems and Vex adaptive components. General Chen commanded from the flagship Technological Diversity, named for the philosophy that had brought them together. The precursor Armada approached with mechanical precision, deploying countermeasures that had devastated the standard Federation defenses. But this time, when their systems disabled the primary energy shields, secondary kinetic barriers activated. When they jammed advanced communications, simple radio transmissions continued coordination. When they overwhelmed automated targeting systems, human gunners took manual control. The battle lasted 17 hours. The Armada, designed to counter technological singularity, found itself unable to adapt to the unpredictable combination of approaches. One by one, the ancient vessels were disabled or destroyed. In the aftermath, as the combined fleet pursued the retreating Armada toward the Galactic core, the Federation underwent a renaissance of technological thinking. Military academies on thousands of worlds established Earth exchange programs, their brightest minds eager to learn the philosophy that had saved the galaxy. At the dedication ceremony for the new Galactic Defense Academy on Earth's moon, Supreme Counselor Zixtal addressed representatives from across known space. The day we discovered the secret behind humanity's outdated weapons, we thought we had found a curious anomaly in the pattern of civilizational development. What we actually discovered was a blind spot in our own understanding. The assumption that technological progress must always discard the old to embrace the new. General Chen, her uniform now bearing the insignia of 3 civilizations, added the final words to the Academy's founding charter. The strongest shield is woven from many materials. The wisest civilization draws from many sources, and the most resilient future is one that never forgets its past.